Did they have any like resources for you, or like did the team ever like bring it up or ever have talks?
No. I think that was one of those teams where it's like how you point out, it's like tough mentality. Like, let's be grinders. Let's be gritty.
No excuses.
No excuses. Excuses are tools of incompetence. But like,
I went to a school, it was a Power 5, and like they had a big thing on the wall that was essentially like, don't make excuses. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
I was like, we need to rearrange this.
how do you feel about that? Because like,
about the no excuses.
Yeah, because you're kind of a no excuses type guy, though.
I'm
gonna put you on blast. So like, we can't just be following the whole time.
I'm about the grind.
Yeah.
I think you if you want to be an elite athlete, you have to run when you don't want to run. You got to wake up when you don't want to wake up. Like that is not. I think there's mental toughness and there's mental health. They're different. I hate it when people who are clinically depressed are being told mental toughness, and then I also hate when people are just like, I don't feel like working hard. It's like, okay, you gotta be tough.
If you're not depressed, then you should push through it, right? It's like, is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, so I'll get,
This is
sorry,
good
Justice.
This is good education.
I gotta go deep now.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we define the two, mental health is a state of well-being. So it's like physical health. Like when you show up and you have your legs and you're walking, like you're physically healthy. It's a state. It's like the baseline.
Okay.
Mental toughness is an ability. It's like a skill you could train to push past adversity, challenge, with optimism and with courage. And so how do they relate? And this is a Mike Gervais quote once again is mental wellness is a state mental wellness is the state and mental toughness is the bridge to peak performance. So you need to be mentally well as like your baseline, and then mental toughness is how you build to a sustainable peak performance where like you're really the best, you're the greatest. But you can't sustain greatness if you're not well, and you also can't reach greatness if you're not tough.
Yeah.
But you see how there's a difference? And so like if we look at mental injuries as physical injuries, if you have a tear your ACL, no one's like, Mo, shake it off, like sleep it off. We want you to practice tomorrow.
Yeah.
But when someone is depressed, which is a severe injury, they're told sleep it off, come to practice tomorrow. So I just think we need to identify the two. And like if a coach thinks his athlete's not trying hard, can he just call him in and be like, yo, how are things at home? How are things in your life? Like, are you struggling? Do you need me to help you meet a psychologist? Or are you just not trying hard today? And then they know, and then if they say they're not trying hard, then scream at them, get them on the line. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like, it gets kind of blurry though, I feel like. Because like there's that famous Muhammad Ali quote where it's like, I hated every second of training. And so like how do you view that? Like some parts of training are inherently miserable, right? Like a really hard conditioning session or something like that. So like I don't know. I don't even know what my question is, but like how do you?
I know what you're saying.
We're getting to that point.
Yeah.
That's the big. I don't know. That's
the real pod experience.
Yeah, I love it.
I know. I totally get what you're saying, and I think even like Kobe has some quotes that are, wild quotes about work ethic.
Training sessions.
And I do think every person knows their limit. Hopefully, like if you have the awareness, like I know when I'm in the gym and I'm like, I have more in me. And I know when I'm like, shit, I've been on E for the past hour. I have nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I think in your heart of hearts if you can go one more.
Yeah.
And actually, one of my favorite quotes from Kobe's novel that came out, Geese Are Never Swans, is sometimes it takes more strength to hold back than it does to push. And that's such an underrated sentence
powerful.
in sports. It's always like push. Do you know how much harder it is for an athlete to say, I don't have it in me right now? It's so much harder to admit that you need rest and recovery.
Yeah.
Well, you got to pick your battles when you say that one.
Well, Kobe's the poster child of it. And so for him to say that, I think it's very powerful. And I don't even know if that's advertised enough because I had no idea about that. Did you?
No.
Because like I always hear the crazy stories like, dribbling till 4 a.m. You hear it
after
everywhere. Yeah, that's his thing. That's his shtick. And so I had no idea.
Some people are built different. Like
That
Kobe
too.
might be able
Built
to.
different.
Kobe might not that you're not, but
Def built
No,
Kobe, like even when you look at like The Last Dance in Jordan, he like lived and breathed greatness. He was always in flow state. Like that's just different. Like for me to even touch that level would take a lifetime of effort and energy. So I do think like that's why I'm saying everyone's different, and sometimes you need to know, like my freshman year at SC, I was like, I got to outwork everyone. I got to outwork everyone in my position. If she stays, I'm staying. If she does more, I'm doing more. That just drove me crazy. I got such bad performance anxiety. I was playing when I wasn't able to play. And then my senior year, I was a starter, and girls were saying I should do extra reps. And I was sat there. I was like, you know what? I gave 100% in practice. I feel good about what I did. I think it's best for me to roll out, go home, eat my dinner, go to bed at 9, and you can keep doing reps if that's best for you. I just think we compete too much with the competition, and then we don't pay attention to what is going to actually be optimal for us sometimes.
So I guess it's about knowing, like discovering within yourself, and maybe that's a difficult process, but like what's enough and like what your body and mental health needs.
Yeah, it's trial and error, and that's what I was talking about earlier today. Is like it's trial and error. Like, how does your playlist work for you? You know, what time do you arrive? When do you wake up in the morning? What do you eat pre-game? Like, I think those are all things we play with. Similarly, like if we try to eat everything Jordan eats before a game, like that's not going to make us play like Jordan, you know? So I think it is individual. And I think people need to check inwards and figure out like what's optimal for them. That's the hope. You know, maybe there's people that can't tap into what's best for them, but